Today we're going to be glazing our pottery. Here's a few steps. First, gather all of your materials. You'll need your pottery, some glaze, a brush, a sponge, and a pot of water. You're going to shake up the glaze, make sure the lid is on securely. Try if there's any crystals in it to get them all mixed up. You may need to take the lid off and use your brush to stir them up. If there are crystals in the bottom, just stir up the glaze, replace the lid tightly, and shake it again. Let's get started glazing. Take your sponge and wipe off the bottom of your pot. This is going to help for the glaze not to stick to the bottom. Now unscrew the lid for the glaze. And if you have an open vessel, you're going to want to pour the glaze inside and swirl it around. Then pour out the glaze over the container and pour it back in. Rotate it so that the glaze coats the entire inside of the vessel. Now use the brush to apply the glaze to the outside. You're going to apply 3 coats. So you want to start glazing, but you don't glaze the bottom. Glaze everything but the bottom. So just use your brush, paint the glaze on, and as you can see, I just take the brush and dab it on the vessel. Make sure you get everything glazed and painted. Again, do not glaze the bottom. Make sure that the glaze is not touching the table. Leave a little tiny space. If it is, take your sponge and wipe off any glaze that's touching the table. Wait for 30 seconds and then apply another coat of glaze. Your second coat, you just apply the glaze to the outside. Just rotate it and continue to brush the glaze onto your vessel. It's important not to get the glaze on the bottom because when it goes into the kiln, the glaze expands and it turns into a glass and it'll stick to the kiln shelf. And we don't want that because it ruins the kiln and it ruins your pottery. Wait another 30 seconds. And then apply your third and final coat of glaze. You shouldn't need a lot, just spreading the glaze, making sure that everything has a nice even coat. This is going to make sure that none of the pottery shows through, and it'll be nice and shiny if you're using a glossy glaze when you're finished. Now that you're finished glazing, you want to pick up your pottery and use the sponge to wipe off the bottom. Remove any little bits of glaze that might be there. And then you can do a little touch-up work where you've touched the pot. And then put your brush in the pot of water, wipe off the lid container and close it up tightly. Make sure that it's not crooked so that it doesn't dry out or make a mess.